Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here with an exclusive interview with an attorney extraordinaire. Today, we're going to be talking with Kathleen Martinez, who is currently the attorney for Eve of 90 Day Fiance. I'm hoping that you all have your seatbelt clicked on and you all are ready for this ride. Let's get into it, y'all, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even fuckers?
Aunties and lives, sweet old auntie. Aunties and ways. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Well, welcome back, everybody. And this is Auntie. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for hitting that subscribe button and joining the channel. To all of my nieces, my nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. As you all know, for the last couple of days, we have been talking about Eve and Mohamed of 90 Day Fiance. We all have so many mixed feelings about it. But last night, we began our discussion on the U visa. I generally looked it up and I said, you know what? I need to go to a professional. And so I reached out to Kathleen Martinez, who is an immigration attorney. Some of you all may have seen her on TikTok. Before I bring her out, I'm going to show you all just a little teeny snippet of Attorney Martinez. So hold on while I bring it up, everybody. Just one second. I'm going to just show you just a little teeny bit of what you can be expecting today. Okay, you all ready? Let's go.
This is exactly what happens when you fake your way into the United States. Even if you watch 90 Day Fiance, you are familiar with Yvette and Mohamed and their rather interesting marriage. Yvette got engaged to Mohamed and brought him over here on a fiance visa, which requires you to get married in 90 days. However, things took a turn to a worse. What my client, Yve Arellano, discovered is that Mohamed came over here with ill intentions. He doesn't actually love her and pretty much came over here to get a green card. She soon found out that he was cheating on her with not one, but two women. Even more, we found out that he's friends with someone from an immigration Facebook group who coached him on how to falsely accuse her of battery so that he can get a U visa. Yvette soon found out that once she broke up with him for cheating on him, that's when he started planning the U visa scam. And now she has hired me and my lovely firm of ladies to make sure that USCIS knows that he is claiming immigration fraud. Why is this important to me? Because USCIS only gives out a certain amount of U visas a year. So with people like this claiming immigration fraud, it takes away the credibility from people who actually deserve it. Not only will USCIS likely blacklist him, considering his lack of credibility.
So, without further ado, I am going to introduce to you Attorney Kathleen Martinez. Hello
Hi.
there. Welcome to Auntie's Advice.
Thank you.
We are so interested and so excited about you joining us today. We have so many questions, and we know that you have the answers. So, thank you again for allowing us this time. I know that you're really, really busy. Can you just introduce yourself and tell the subscribers a little bit about yourself?
Of course, yeah. So I am an immigration attorney. I am licensed in Texas, but immigration is federal, so I can help clients virtually in all 50 states. So Eve was kind of a more unique client because obviously she does not need immigration help. She's a U.S. citizen. But because I'm able to identify familiar immigration fraud, that's where she hired me so I could kind of assist separating her from the fraud that we think is happening with her husband.
Okay, and so you took to TikTok to discuss, what you thought was happening with Eve, and so of course, my subscribers were in my DMs. Auntie, we got to talk to her. We have to talk. We got to find out and pick her brains. Yesterday, when we were discussing the new update that they have on this particular case, the U visa came up, and I know that today we're going to be discussing the U visa, and I believe you said the T visa.
Just the U visa. I think that's what he's trying to get right now.
Okay, can you explain to us what is a U visa?
Sure. So a U visa is a visa that is available to victims and witnesses to crimes in the United States. So the rationale and the policy behind it is immigration and the government is trying to reward people who are helpful with the police in prosecuting crimes. So let's say they've been a victim to a crime, they file a police report, they can then use the police report to file for a visa. It's a 4-year visa, allows you to have work authorization, and it eventually leads to a green card and eventually citizenship. So it's a pathway to independently becoming a citizen here in the United States.
Wow. So now we saw some leaked videos or some leaked text messages, and
Mhm.
that was revealed by a Instagrammer by the name of Mary Pants. Is there any way that that evidence that we saw or those leaked texts, is there any way that that can be used and to prove fraud? And I want to talk about marriage fraud if we can.
Yeah, so I mean, specifically with marriage fraud, I mean, USCIS is the governing body determining whether and adjudicating whether a marriage is bona fide or not. There's so much marriage fraud going on here in the United States that a lot of people with legitimate bona fide marriages end up getting denied for lack of proper evidence. They weren't together that long. They have too big of an age gap, they don't have enough financial ties. So with something like him, I mean, it could definitely help with the case. The fact that he's like fraudulently trying to claim battery with a bunch of evidence to like support my client that it's not true. I mean, I'm going to tie both cases in together. So basically what happened is that they filed for his green card based on their marriage, but she's obviously not going to their interview. Their interview is in a few weeks and she's not going because obviously their marriage is not working out. So he's using this U visa as kind of a backup option to try to stay in the United States.
Also, there was a rumor that was out there on the internet that they had already had this interview and that she was encouraging people not to say anything or disclose information because she wanted him to go on this interview and to gain his citizenship. Is that just a rumor then?
Yeah. So what happened is she brought him over here on a fiance visa, which does require an interview, but only him in his home country. So he had his interview based on the bona fide legitimacy of their engagement. The thing is, once you come over here, you have to get married in 90 days, which they did. And then to get a green card, that's another interview. She's obviously not going to that. So they might have confused the two.
So if she does not take him to the interview and change his status, am I saying the right thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Status, does that mean automatic deportation?
It doesn't mean automatic deportation. What gets you deported under this administration currently is a criminal conviction. Now, that could happen considering he's committing fraud. There's a series of things that could happen in my experience, when you commit marriage fraud, a lot of clients are just denied. But USCIS could determine that when they think he's committed not only marriage fraud but U visa fraud, if he pursues this application, they might decide to deport him because he's so inadmissible. If they pursue him in a criminal court, if it gets referred to his state where he lives for like a criminal conviction, that within itself could get him deported. So while you're here without status, a lot of people just don't get their green card and you can stay here. They don't deport you, but they're interested in deporting people who have severe inadmissibility like him or criminal convictions, which could happen to him if he pursues his case.
So it seems like because he chose this route, because from my understanding, or the rumor is that he had been speaking with some woman who was giving him options in which he could use in order to leave the marriage yet still stay in the country. Do you know what I mean by that? I know you're attorney.
Yeah. So I guess like he determined that, you know, they figured out that he's obviously not going to that marriage-based interview based on their marriage. So we found text messages between him and a Facebook group member. So there's a bunch of Facebook groups for immigrants who try to kind of work with each other on like how to get status if they can't afford an attorney. Usually they're a good thing, but I guess this person was helping him find out how to do a U visa. Now it's immigration attorneys like me who actually educate people on how to get a U visa, like on TikTok. But I don't know if she found out from me. There's only a few of us really that are that viral, but like she's figured it out. She kind of coached him on it, but then she kind of turned things around and let us know and let my team and Yvette's team know, that,
So
you know,
she
this is
became a
what's going on.
whistleblower.
She came clean and she was a whistleblower. So she sent us like 65 slides of text messages. So his case isn't looking good. If I were his attorney, I'd tell him to stop pursuing the U visa or don't pursue it at all. I mean, it could get him deported. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy. So do you think that was it something that he did that caused her to change? He indicated that he broke up and said, "Hey, look, I'm married. I don't want to deal with you." Was this the case, or was it something that you think that she was intentionally leading him on to find out whether or not he really was in love with her?
I think that she definitely felt that he was in love with her when she brought him over here. And then things unraveled, which is very, very common, unfortunately. Like a lot of people come over here on a fiance visa with someone they barely know. And then once they get married, they realize they're only really here for a green card because they're usually talking to someone else. So she found out that he was talking to someone else. She started to realize, oh my God, this is why he came over here. You know, it was just for a green card. I think she was like kind of a deer in headlights. I really, really genuinely felt like she was in love with him and she thought it was a bona fide relationship. And she started to find out, like many people here in the United States who are victims of immigration fraud, that she was not alone. There's support groups for this. There's a lot of people who commit this. Yeah, it's a huge issue. And unfortunately, why it's personal for me and why I took on this case is because I have so many clients who get denied for the wrong reasons. Because, you know, there's so much immigration fraud. So let's say they don't have enough evidence and they're like, why did I get denied? I really love this person. I'm like, because of people like him, unfortunately.
So is this the first time you've decided to kind of switch over and take on a case like this?
Yeah, actually, it was my very first time. I've seen it a lot. I haven't really been pursued for something like this, but, you know, we knew the right people and we connected. And that's when I told her, I'm like, I think this is what's going on based on my experience. And I was like, so I don't know if you know much about the criminal complaint that he filed against her.
No, I don't. Tell us.
So she wasn't arrested ever. So she was not formally arrested. The cop didn't read her Miranda rights. And we called this in law school fruit of the forbidden tree, meaning if you don't arrest someone properly, any evidence or anything after that is thrown out. So we're going to get the case dismissed. She can't even go to arraignment. She can't get charged because she wasn't formally arrested. So because they didn't read her Miranda rights, that entire case is moot. It's going to be thrown out. It's going to be dismissed. So his U visa is even more of a BS claim, if that makes sense.
So there has been a leaked tape.
Mm-hmm.
I played a snippet of it yesterday because I really did not want to go deep into it because I have actually been a victim of DV.
Okay.
And so I did not want to. I felt like he did that on purpose and that he was antagonizing her. But one of the things that stopped me, Attorney Martinez, is that she never denied it. There was a statement in the recording where he said, "If you touch me like that again, it's not going to be good." And
When
I
he
felt
said that or she said that?
he said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she never denied it. She just continued to scream and scream and scream.
Yeah.
Can that be proof that she did do this, or did she not have a responsibility to correct him?
Well, here's the thing, like anybody can record themselves saying anything they want. It doesn't show proof of anything. There's no proof of her. She doesn't have to deny something to be able to like refute it in court. Like you
Okay,
have to
okay.
have proof of something. So, I could get I could record myself saying whatever I want and confuse the crap out of my husband, and he'd be like, "What are you talking about? I can't use that against him in court." If that makes sense. It doesn't really prove anything. What it says to me is that he's been planning this for a very long time. If he just like
Yeah.
randomly records himself in a fight with her, you know what I mean? I mean, normal people don't do that.
And that's what I thought. And I looked up the statue on it. It appears that Albuquerque, which is in New Mexico, is a
Yeah.
one report state. So he didn't have to get her permission or to let her know, hey, I'm recording this. So he continued to, go on, and you could see that she was irritated. When he indicated that she touched him, I didn't hear any scuffling or anything like that that indicated that he was being touched at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's just, even if it had happened, it's a really weak claim because we have so much evidence claiming that he was literally preparing for this. He's been planning this like way before. All these evidence of like, this is what happens. You can get a U visa, all this stuff. Like, how does he have any credibility? Recording yourself in a screaming fight, welcome to marriage in the United States. Like, none of that is like an assault claim. So, I mean, I don't do criminal like law, so I can't speak. I only do immigration, but just generally speaking, like as a lawyer, like no way will that hold up in court given the evidence against him.
So this Facebook group, was this Facebook group established before he came to the US, or was this something that he picked up once he got here?
I don't know when he joined. He probably joined it once he got here. With his intentions, that makes sense. But these groups have been on forever, and they can be helpful, but they can be obviously super toxic. Because she kind of, it sounds, that Facebook member who wants to remain anonymous sounds like she kind of had a like guilty conscience, and that's why she came to Yvette's team, all of us, and she was like, I don't feel good about this. She probably realized what actually happened, and it's all gonna come about. I just really hope he doesn't pursue the U visa claim. It could get him in a lot of trouble. It's obviously not worth it. It's better to just be here undocumented than trying to get a green card out of a BS U visa claim.
So if you were the attorney representing him, you would suggest to him that he drop this and remain undocumented? How will he work?
Absolutely. Yeah, because in the United States, if you're undocumented and you're not committing a crime, you're not really going to get put in removal proceedings. He already came here legally. So if he had just stayed undocumented, everyone would leave him alone. But because he's pursuing this obviously fraudulent scheme against her to pursue a government benefit, which costs the government and the United States money, it's going to make them mad when they find out that it's fraudulent, because that is their biggest thing with immigration. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, that just sounds good. So if she changes his status, which you're saying that she has not, is she still legally, financially responsible for him if he remains here undocumented?
No, because they did not pursue a green card. So her responsibility really only goes until they get married, and that's for immigration purposes. He already came here. He already got his visa. Once they get divorced, she is no longer responsible for him financially. I know. Thank God.
That is such good news. I mean,
Yeah. I'm really happy for her because she feels like a very genuine, kind of almost naive person in the way that she really loved him and she thought it was going to work. And that's why she needs like an attorney like me to be really real about how people are. You know, unfortunately, there are good people, but you can't notice them with people like him. You know what I mean?
So
I mean,
did
I
you
just
seek
think she
her
had
out,
no
or
idea.
did she seek you out?
Well, she sought me out in the way that we both have like mutual friends in the industry, so we're kind of like matched together, if that makes sense.
Okay, and you and your staff with the pink suits on, you all are fire. You
Thank
and your
you.
staff are just, you're going to take this on. So she has a hearing that's coming up, correct?
Hmm.
And you said that you believe is going to be thrown out because she was not
Hmm.
read her Miranda rights. But where does this case start and stop?
So she has an arraignment. That's when this the first hearing in criminal court in New Mexico when they decide whether like she should be charged with something. And obviously, anyone with half a degree can go up there and say she wasn't read her Miranda rights, and we have the proof of it on the police report. So no more time that needs to be wasted here. So that's what we're going to plan to do, and the case is going to get dismissed for sure.
So you don't have to bring in any of the evidence from the Facebook group or anything like that.
I mean, that's our backup. We have a ton of evidence, and obviously that's like what we might use if we have to, but we don't even have to because the police messes up all on their own. They didn't even get us.
So
Which
I'm
is
just wondering
not
how to see.
surprising.
So I'm wondering after you help her get out of that mess, then I'm wondering what are the next steps in making everything right as far as Muhammad is concerned. What are the next steps?
Yeah, I mean, immigration wise, my duties are kind of relieved once we notify USCIS that I believe he's trying to commit fraud. But in regards to her, like, I don't know what I know she's pursuing a temporary restraining order against him. She does fear for her life when it comes to him. She thinks he's just unhinged. Obviously, for what he's been planning, he's absolutely unstable. So she's is just trying to protect herself. She's trying to protect her son, really trying to do what she can as a mother. And I think the temporary restraining order is what she wants as of now. And she just wants to be rid of this completely false, fabricated like assault claim from now. But I'm
So
sure she'll pursue more.
so they are actually still living together through all of this?
No, 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 no. No, they are not living together yet. He's been out for a while, and the most ironic part about this is that he filed the criminal complaint 2 days after he moved out. So that's even another argument as to why this claim is such BS. I mean, not only can we not even pursue it into court because it's the cops' issue, he didn't even have to mess it up, but he messed it up because his timing is off. He wasn't even there. Yeah, no witnesses, no proof. I mean, it's just complete bullshit. So if he continues with this U visa claim, I mean, it's just laughable at this point.
Oh my goodness. So I know that
Yeah.
you are licensed in all 50 states. Will you be actually the one showing up in court, or will you be sending
No,
one
because what I
that
mean by that is immigration's federal, so I can practice immigration in all 50 states, but I can't do other areas of law. So she has an advocate. I think she actually also has a criminal attorney who will be like helping her out in that way, but we're all kind of the same team. So we just kind of conduct a plan together. I work with her other attorneys, and we're all just kind of like planning it all out for her and protecting her as much as we can as an all women team.
That is fantastic. I'm hoping that you can put all of this behind her
Hmm.
and that the truth prevails, because I know that sometimes when we think we got a smoking gun, we really don't. Let's say
Yeah.
we don't have a smoking gun and they come back and they say, "You know what? We have this leaked tape. These text messages are not admissible." Now what is
Mhm.
her resolve?
I don't see why the text messages wouldn't be admissible, but
Okay.
our first argument is they can't even pursue it in court because they didn't read the Miranda rights. So they'd have to fight that for months if they want to put her in court. I just think it'll get dismissed. If not, I mean, he still doesn't have any proof against her. Even if we can't use our proof against him, he has zero proof of this. A recording that indicates absolutely nothing. So I don't think he thinks that he'll get any relief against her in criminal court. I think he's using this for her U visa or his U visa. And that's what his end goal is. Even if he thinks he's going to like lose in criminal court, he's like, whatever, all you need is the police report to be able to pursue a U visa. You don't need them to get charged in criminal court. And so that's why she's hiring me and my team, so we can make sure that he doesn't get that as well.
What would you tell other women, or what do you tell other women or men
Mm-hmm.
who are facing these same issues? What would you suggest to them? I have a lot of people all over the world who are on this YouTube channel. They come after the replay and etc. What would you tell them? What are the signs that Eve should have looked out for?
I mean, from what I'm hearing from all my followers lately is that there were signs on the show. He said something
Yes.
about getting another sponsor. I did not actually watch the show until she hired me. So now catching up. But yeah, I guess he said the word sponsor. That would be a massive red flag. And obviously, like if you're, it's up to you, but a lot of people fall victim to love and their infatuation. But I would tell people, whether they have like a career set up in the United States, whether they have like independence and they have financial independence, or if they're kind of using you, if they have a plan, whether they know other people here in the United States. Because a lot of people come over here with absolutely nothing. They just want that green card so they can start their life. And unfortunately, like, you have to look at their social media activity. My God. I mean, he was texting other girls. It was on the Apple Watch. I mean, he was Facebooking people. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty obvious that he was texting other girls. And obviously his just overall demeanor, I think he made a cultural argument, but to me, he was just an a-hole. I mean, like, though he was super degrading to her. So I think she learned her lesson. Yeah, he was very degrading, and it didn't seem legitimate from his side. From her side, I think she was just completely like in love with him and infatuated, but she's obviously wiser now. But you have to figure out, like, why are they wanting to come over here? You know what I mean? Or like, get them over here on a tourist visa, then get married. Just don't bring them over here in a fiance visa unless you're like, you've been together for a really long time. Like, make sure they come over here on their own way. Even hire me, hire an immigration attorney, be like, you speak to them, figure out your way here, and then we'll start a relationship, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So you say that this is the first case like this that you have done. Do you think that you're going to continue to pursue, to advocate?
Yeah, and I really like helping these people on the show, and my husband and I have really gotten into the show now.
Yes.
And I was like, and he was like, you need to do this for other people,
Absolutely.
Like, so I'd love to help other people in this situation. Just from my experience from the other side is always beneficial, opposite sides, because both sides of it, the good and the bad.
I think that you're phenomenal. Thank you so much for helping. I've been covering this show for a long time. Every Sunday I come out here and do a review, and I'm just screaming at Eve. Her posse, her girl squad had been peeping it out the whole entire time. And she really sat back and allowed him to be too aggressive towards these women in those text messages that you've seen.
Yeah. He was horrible. He was very degrading. He's not he's everything against what I stand for. Like, he was
aggressive. So he was aggressive in those text messages too.
Yeah, he was degrading. He was cruel. I mean, and I feel so bad for her, but I think she knows now. She really understands she didn't see it then, and now she sees it. She's like, I was a complete victim of this fraud. This is what he's wanted the whole time. I just thought maybe he was difficult, and she was truly in love with him. And now I feel so bad for her. But the good in it is that she learned a lesson. Obviously not going to date anyone like that ever again. But it sucks that she got taken advantage, because she's such a genuine person.
So the woman who turned out to be the whistleblower,
how
has her relationship with him been? Did they just cut it off?
I don't know. She wants to remain anonymous, so we have.
Yeah, I don't need her name. I'm just talking about in the text messages that you read.
Well, there's kind of two. So one is from the Facebook group, and that person wasn't romantically involved with him, just straight up giving him advice on how to pursue a U visa. So I guess she cut him off, obviously, if she leaked all these text messages to us and her team. Now, I believe that he conspired with one of his girlfriends, one of the two, about this U visa as well, and she wants nothing to do with him. So I'm pretty sure he's just alone without anybody else. Obviously, now that this came out, there's no way anybody wants to do with him because they question his integrity, obviously, and what he's pursuing with anyone here.
But there may be, but do you believe, or at least I believe, let me just say what I believe. I believe that there are probably even other underground groups who would still assist him in doing that.
Yeah, these immigration groups are very crazy on Facebook. I mean, they're very against attorneys. They're very much like, we can figure out on our own. Like, this is what we can do. I mean, and some of them are strong. Some of them are like, wanting just updates on DACA, wanting to help each other and find attorneys, find
Oh
groups
my
to pursue them.
goodness!
But some of them are obviously like not great. They're giving bad advice and they're not licensed to practice law, and it's a huge issue. This is what happens. Honestly, he's getting his advice from the wrong person, and obviously, but she had a change of heart because she ended up telling us everything. So it was in our favor that we
Well,
found
it's a
out.
good thing that she did. She did that. I commend her, and I think that we thank her. There's a lot of people who are, still conflicted, and they look at Eve and say, "Oh, she was so weak, and she was this, and she was that. She should have known better." I was one of those people at first. I really
Yeah,
believe you're an older woman. You've got to see these signs. When she went in that kitchen and asked him, "Why did he send that?" and she said, "I'm your petitioner," I thought to myself, girl, get out of this relationship. But I
yeah,
think it was more about her esteem, her self-esteem, and how
yeah.
she felt about herself.
Yeah, and that's so common in so many relationships. Like, I was that girl 10 years ago. I see it in my friends and my sister, and like, I see it when like they let kind of like, they don't really see the signs or the red flags with men because they just appreciate the love and the companionship, and we've all been kind of victim to it until we're not, and then we learn. You know what I mean? I mean, we really figure out like, wow, this was intention the whole time, and she just really wanted to believe that he wasn't that person. I'm sure she just wanted to see the good in people,
And she
especially
wanted
men.
to believe that she had finally found love.
Yeah, of course. And it's too bad that it didn't happen for her, and it's too bad he's
Absolutely.
really going to this extent. But that's why she has a good team to protect her.
Absolutely. And you are the team. I have a couple of more questions. Now, he indicated in this leaked this leaked voicemail that he's been cleaning, he's been cooking, he's been taking care of her son. Can he use that?
No, I mean so you're doing the bare minimum as a husband? Like, that's not impressive.
I mean, I'm talking about, like under the U visa. Can he say I was mentally, because I think that the U visa, from what I read, it could be emotional or physical. So can
No,
he use that? I felt like I came over here and I just was, a houseboy, and my responsibility was taking care of her kid, and I did this and I did that. Can he use that as a defense?
no, no. It has to be a qualifying crime, and a lot of crimes don't even qualify. So you being like, I don't know, doing the bare minimum around the house and feeling like it wasn't appreciated is not a victim of a crime. Like, it does
Okay.
not qualify you for a U visa. And he might be thinking about VAWA, which is different. That's eligibility to get a green card based on abuse
Yeah.
from your spouse.
Yeah.
That you have to really, really prove that, especially if you're a man. Like, that's the thing, is like, in the United States, it's still a little bit like old school. I mean, when you want to show proof against men, abuse against men, they can qualify for it, but you need legitimate proof to get approved. So his whole recording of like, I'm cooking and cleaning, my God, that does not like warrant like abuse. What is that? Maybe in your culture, I mean, like, but here it's just like you're doing the bare minimum, and like, that's the problem. And I've seen that a lot, and with different cultures mashing, he's like, wow, I've done so much, which I normally wouldn't do. So therefore, like, I deserve the royal treatment. Like, and it's not abuse. It's just a BS claim for a U visa, which it won't work. It's not a qualifying crime.
I tell you, this has just really been very interesting. I would like to ask one last question if I can.
Sure.
Where is she now? What is her mental state? How is she holding up? Does she have the squad around her? If you could give us any update on how Eve is doing.
Yeah, I think she's definitely doing a lot better. She has a lot of support, obviously from online, from people who watch the show, as well as a team. I mean, she specifically put together a team of just women. There's like 8 of us who are constantly doing whatever we can to protect her and to make sure that she's okay and that, more importantly, her son is okay. So I think she's recovering, and it's going to take her a while. There's obviously going to be some trust issues with like future relationships, I assume. But you know, she's really positive person, really genuine, kind of glass half full mentality. So I believe that she's not going to use this as a crutch. She's just going to learn from it, and she's going to continue to see the good in people, but in like a smarter way, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with about this particular case? Anything else you want to discuss with us tonight? Thank you
Um,
so much for joining.
Yeah, I mean, no, I just really glad that people are a little bit more educated on U visas, because I mean, for people who are actual genuine victims of crimes, it's super helpful. Not a lot of people know about it, but obviously it can be used for the wrong way. So maybe on 90 Day Fiance, a little bit more people, more people are going to be able to like maybe suspect it, on the show, and like I wonder if he's using it for a green card, and maybe we'll be able to like determine before it gets too bad, like an Eve situation.
Okay. Okay. Well, we did not know about U visas until you brought it up. So you have educated us, and we are so thankful for that. I was going to see, let me see if there's any comments in here. Someone said Mohamed sue for the footage. I don't know what that means. What could that possibly mean, Kathleen?
I don't know.
I don't think he has a ground to stand on. It is so obvious
No.
to
He doesn't
everybody.
have any grounds for the criminal case. I think he knows that, and he's just trying to pursue the U visa. And footage is not a thing in U visas. It doesn't even go to court. It's just an application.
Good. I
Yeah.
just it's like empowerment for all women, right?
Yeah. This is definitely a women's thing issue as well as an immigration issue, because there's so many immigrants who are now losing credibility for their U visa claims or their marriage-based claims because of people like him.
How many UV on average, how many UVs are granted a
Granted,
year?
I don't know, but they're
Like a year.
I
Do
don't
they do
even
it on a
know.
yearly basis, or
I
because you
mean, they
said
only
you made
give out a certain amount a year. They just decide how many each year. So it's definitely like right now they're pursuing U visas that were filed in 2017. That's how long it takes. So he wouldn't have status for 5 years either way. I don't know if he knows that. They're given out based on a lottery basis. So it's extremely difficult to get a U visa. He's obviously not gonna get in this situation.
So you know what that's really strategic though. If you think about it,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's someone in that group that said, "Hey, they're backlogged. You get an extra 5 years to stay here before you even come up for this." Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Like, unfortunately, like this has been big thanks to like TikTok and social media. I mean, what I use social media to is I want to like educate people if they've actually been victims of crimes. Because a lot of people call me and they're like, "I was a huge victim of a crime. I'm too afraid to call the police because I'm undocumented." I'm like, "We can help you. There's something for you." But then there's people like him who ruin it for people like my clients. You know what I mean? So like that's why it's so important to like let people know, like, look out for this kind of stuff when you're getting in a relationship with someone.
Yeah, I hope that I really truly hope that she's learned from this. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the work that you are doing helps other women, and men, I have to say that, um,
Yeah.
to be able to stay out of these kind of situations. Um, I think that what I've noticed is that people don't really use the K-1 visa, the 90 days to really do the work.
Yeah.
I think that because they've invested, so this is what I see. Because they've invested so much money, they figure, let me go all the way and complete this.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of saying at day 85, this isn't working and I'm going to forfeit all the money that I
Yeah.
spent and I'm going to send
They're
you back.
like, whatever, I might as well get my green card. I can leave
Yeah,
them later. And that happens a lot.
right. I think so too. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll reach out to you again. Is that okay if we reach out to you after the
Absolutely.
hearing? And what
Yeah.
day is the hearing?
I don't know. I have to confirm because I'm not. I have to ask her criminal attorney when the arraignment is, but I'm sure she won't even be going. Sure, she won't even be going. We'll get it dismissed before then.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. We really appreciate you being here.
Of course, no problem.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness, y'all. That was phenomenal. I'm hoping that you all enjoyed this interview with Kathleen. I thought it was extremely informative. And ladies, look, I know you may have put out your duckies, lined everything up in a row, and you don't want to give up on this. I know that rejection is the last thing that we want in our lives. But if you suspect or a mofo stands in a kitchen and texts you and says, I'm going to get another sponsor, that's a major red flag. When he doesn't respect your friends, your family, major red flag. When he doesn't accept you for who you are and wants to change you, major red flag. Run. You can always get that money back. You can recoup it another way. You don't want to find yourself in this kind of situation where now you've got to spend more money to get rid of a problem. We have watched this season over and over. We've watched episode after episode after episode, and we are fully aware of what was going on, but Eve wasn't. Every time your girlfriends talk to you, it isn't because of jealousy. It's not that they jealous of you or anything like that. We've got to stop looking at advice and sound wisdom and counsel as jealousy. Oh, she don't want me to be happy. Oh, she doesn't have a man, so she's just jealous because I have a man. And put on blinders to what's really going on. And in this case, I believe that Eve was a victim of that. Being by yourself doesn't mean lonely. There are other ways to fulfill yourself. Getting into this kind of situation can be avoided if you just look at the flags. There's no way you're going to tell me that Eve did not have a gut feeling. But we know how to suppress those feelings and move on. We just continue to move on. Oh, I'm going to move on. It's not what I think it is. It's exactly what you think it is. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you so much to everybody who super chat. I saw them, but we were in the midst of the conversation. Attorney Martinez, the bomb. She is fantastic. Follow her on TikTok and on Instagram under Attorney Martinez. And I believe that she's also on Instagram under Kathleen. That starts with the K. Martinez. You all, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And to the replay gang, I hope you like it. Love you all to pieces. And until we meet again, be safe, everybody. Bye-bye.